Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Run It Back. My name is Remco Rinkema, and tonight, I am joined by one of my favorite people, Danielle dmoongirl Andersen. If I wave out of my window, you can almost see me. We live pretty close to each other, so that is pretty funny. If it wasn't for us being extremely careful, we could have done this in person, but that would have probably been a total loss for my weight loss bet, as you would have probably force-fed me many, many drinks. For tonight, I'm gonna have a Topo Chico, stay sane. 2 weeks left on the weight loss bet. We're on track. 4 pounds to go for anyone at home who's keeping track. Danielle, first and foremost, how are you holding up?
Hey, I'm good. It's going to be a world's crazy place, but within these walls, it's pretty good. Can't complain.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. For the people who are new to this show, and I'm sure there's many every week because our numbers are growing and growing and growing because you guys at home are liking the videos, and that is, of course, helping me a ton. We are watching High Stakes Poker Season 5. For those that tune in every single week, you will recognize the faces and the players because I am just continuing to watch episode after episode of this awesome season. We are on episode 10 and 11 of Season 5 tonight. So just so you know, if you're tired of us talking, go to PokerGO.com, watch all these episodes without us talking. So profit for you if you want to do that. And keep in mind as well, all 7 seasons of High Stakes Poker are available on PokerGO. And the latest and the newest season, Season 8, is coming to PokerGO whenever we can, put a lineup together, get everyone in the same space, and get that next season going. If you guys have any suggestions for players that should be on the newest season of High Stakes Poker, do feel free to drop them into the chat. Danielle, I saw you take a sip earlier before we went on air. What exactly is it that we are drinking tonight?
Well, you told me that drinking was encouraged. I, didn't know that you were going to be drinking. What the hell what'd you call it?
Topo Chico. It's my favorite.
Topo Chico.
It's a Mexican sparkling water. It's my favorite.
Mexican sparkling water. I didn't know that was going to be your, drink of choice. I didn't know about this weight loss, but I have questions about this. But right now, I just got a little rosé. Look, I filled it full, so I didn't want to have to,
a little?
leave you guys to go fill. Well, I didn't want to have to be running out of the room to get a refill. So come on, it's like, But as like a special occasion, my husband, his new thing is he's figured out how to make. He's got like the smoky stuff to make like the smoked whiskey drinks,
Wow.
Like the cedar chips and all like fancy and stuff. But it's kind of a labor of love, but I asked him if maybe for the special occasion he'd make me one. So I might be getting something special delivered eventually.
You might be double fisting is what you're saying.
I'm a little spoiled. Yeah. Whiskey, rosé.
I appreciate it. That is awesome. For the people in the chat, if you have questions for Danielle, for myself, or anything about the lineup or the hands that are being played, do drop them into the chat, and don't forget to like this video at the same time. I only take questions from people who like the video. Not that I know who liked the video, but I just like saying it like that. Danielle, we're watching High Stakes Poker Season 5. Tell me, what's your relationship like with this show? Like, were you binge watching this back when it was first airing? Were you a fan of the show? And do you know any of the players personally that are playing on tonight's lineup?
I did not watch very much of this back in the day. I kind of was only watched the Moneymaker, the World Series of Poker tournament stuff. So I've now, watched some of this here and there. You always see clips popping up and stuff, but no, haven't watched too much. Definitely haven't watched this episode.
Wow.
And let's see I don't even know who we all got here. We got, we can talk a lot about
Howie,
Mr. Letterer here.
Uncle Howie.
my good friend Uncle Howie. Played a little bit with Joe Hashim in some tournaments. Who else we got? Negreanu. I know Negreanu. That's how we bonded. At Negreanu's wedding, we became like besties.
Exactly. We have Mr. Dreamy Eyes, Patrick Antonius. We have Mr. I Love America, Antonio Esfandiari. The Unabomber, Phil Laak. We have, I believe, Doyle Brunson in the mix as well. And Mr. Hashim, Joe Hashim, one of my favorites. Joe Hashim, by the way, has used his one time the most of any player known to mankind, and I love him for that. I think that is awesome. So have you played against any of these characters in whatever game, shape, or form?
I've played against Antonio. Definitely. Played a little bit here and there in just some passing tournaments. Howard made an appearance at my World Series of Poker table a couple years ago. That was actually an interesting situation. I don't know do you know what I'm talking about when I'm referencing that?
I do. I remember that.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can recount that story a little bit. Let's see. I've played a little bit with Phil Laak in some cash games, but it's been a while. And I think that's about it. I know Dwan, we used to be buddies. That bastard owes me a t-shirt, actually.
Wow.
But he's kind of dropped off the face there since he got married. Well, he's Tom Dwan, so he's always in and out of socialization. Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know the gentleman in the black hat.
Oh, that's Hollywood producer Nick Cassavetes
Oh, okay.
who made the movie Blow with Johnny Depp. He's kind of a legend. On the previous episode, for those who were there as well, we had the Esfandiari push-up prop bet against Nick Cassavetes. I think Esfandiari easily ripped off 35 push-ups for 10K payout, so that was good for him. As always, he finds the right side of things. Here comes Hashem with the ace-king suited. We'll keep an eye on this hand to see if it goes anywhere. Thomas on YouTube, and Matthew, thanks for joining us. We have no skills, just gills in the chat as well. Thank you also for joining us. James, George, Dan, and Syed on Facebook. Loved you guys are all watching. Please let me know where you're watching from. We always have an international crowd. Don't let me down this week. Hearts for Antonius. I can see something developing here.
Heart would be make it interesting.
Exactly. I'm always rooting for the biggest possible pot, and as we all know, high-stakes poker always gets extremely out of line as far as the way the hands are being played. And partly because of television, partly because this was taped, I believe, in 2009, 10, something in that range.
What are the blinds here? I don't even know. What are we playing?
I believe they're playing 400, 800 with a $200 ante. $100 ante.
So just a little game.
Just a little game. What's the highest stakes you've ever played? I'm kind of curious.
Starting blinds, highest ever played is probably like 200, 400, but it wasn't a true 200, 400. Like I've recently, within the last month, played a game where there was a straddle up to $6,400.
Excuse me?
Yeah, right. Quarantine crazy. We're all losing our goddamn mind. Am I allowed to swear here?
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Otherwise,
I just have to like politely exit right now.
If we get demonetized, I'll send you the invoice for that.
Okay, noted. There's been some crazy games during quarantine. I actually won that hand. It's a good time to pick up pocket queens when there's straddle to $6,400.
That is absolutely insane. Okay, when you're in a big game, and I know you've played cash games for a very long time, so you have a lot of experience. When you're in a game where the stakes are already high, and then they get kicked up a notch by all the straddles, like, what do you do? Is that the time to like, peace out, guys, I'm out, or do you just have to bite the bullet and go for it? Yeah,
you just kind of got to bite the bullet and go for it, because like usually if there's that many straddles, and it's that out of control, there's a reason for it. It means the game is like great. Like it's never 8 pros sitting around who are like, let's just shoot this shit up through the moon. It's always a good game. So you just kind of buckle in and hope variance is on your side at that point in time.
How much did you still remember of what it's like to play online? Because clearly, I've seen you in the live streets for many years here in Las Vegas, mostly, of course, cash games, but also dabbling in the tournament scene. And then when COVID struck, I can only imagine that, you had no other options than to build both a home gym and play online poker.
Thankfully, I already had the home gym,
okay,
which was nice. I was actually more worried about like getting robbed for, my home gym than like food or money or anything like that. People would be walking by and we'd be in the garage. They were so jealous. But yeah, no, it was weird. I'm not gonna lie. I was not a huge fan. It was funny because when I like transitioned to live poker, I found that kind of difficult at first. I was like, I couldn't focus. I couldn't keep track of action and pot size and all that. And then it was kind of the same thing in reverse. When I went back to playing some online, I was like, what in the hell is going on here? It just felt like a completely different world and environment. So it's, I've gotten a little more comfortable with it, but I think live is always going to be my first love from here on out.
Right. So you still miss live. You miss live poker, or are you okay now with basically being a stay-at-home grinder?
I mean, I miss live poker the way that it was. I don't really at this point have any. I'm not in a big hurry to go to the casinos and do the mask and the plexiglass stuff. So I don't know how long that'll be. I mean, who knows? But if I can ride it out without having to make that my, full-time grind, I'm probably going to try and figure that out.
Right. Yeah, it is definitely strange times for the people in the chat. Let us know. Have you dabbled more in online poker because of the quarantine? Have you perhaps made your way back to the live tables? I'm very curious to hear.
I'm actually interested to hear if people, in the chat have played in casinos. What was their experience? Can you hear each other? Is it like awkward? I mean, what is it like playing with a mask and plexiglass? Because to me, live poker, what I love about it is such a like social game. I want to talk. Like if we're going to be there, I don't want to be just bored, and sit there with our earphones, whatever. So obviously, plexiglass and masks isn't really super conducive to that, but
no, it's very true.
It's not so bad. I don't know.
Well, the funny thing, I saw some winner photos from like daily tournaments around the Vegas Strip, And it looked extremely confusing. Like the winner photo was taken through the plexiglass with a person wearing a mask and they were wearing gloves too. So it was a very strange scenario. I'm not likely to go back to a casino anytime soon, but that's just personal preference. I'm totally fine with dueling it out online a little bit when I get the itch. Meanwhile, we see Antonio limp under the gun with 9s, and Antonio's kicking it up to 4,800. Esfandiari made the call. Not sure about the open limp there in a game this deep, but clearly it gives you lots of room to play. Antonio's
not one to be scared away easily.
Right. All right, we got ace with 2 clubs. Let's listen in. Antonio's, by the way, as I said this last week, a killer player, looks extremely good, and basically destroys everyone. Why is he even invited to the game?
What an asshole.
Making all of us look bad.
2 strikes.
Now, Antonio's probably thinking something like, Patrick could have clubs. He could have a king-queen, a queen-jack, a jack-king. He could have the sun in the morning and the moon at night. I just don't want to get outplayed by Patrick Antonius.
Well, he just bet 19,000.
Huh.
Antonio's kind of stumped.
Well, it's interesting. Antonio hasn't put in any raises of his own, so he underreps his range. He could do a variety of things, but it sucks that he's up against the absolute worst possible hand in the situation.
Another ace.
Oh, it's a bad river for Antonio.
Yeah, this makes him more likely to call off, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's just obviously less likely that Antonio says an ace.
What sizing would you like to see from Antonius here, given how the hand played out?
I'd go pretty big, to be honest. I mean, I didn't see the pre-flop action, but I think
that is pretty big. He bets 41 into 64. So Esfandiari limped before the flop, and then Antonius made his 4,800 to his direct left.
Is this where they call it being polarized, those online whiz kids? Like, because he's not going to... Well, I mean, I guess he maybe could do this with a 10 because he's a total sicko, but it's probably not that thin of a value bet. So it's kind of like, I got it or I missed, get the fuck out.
Right. And the problem Antonio creates for himself is probably the fact that he didn't raise before the flop, which makes it harder to define Patrick's range. And now he just calls pre-flop, flop, and turn only to give up on the river. So I can see Antonius bluffing here in this spot. So I think... either way.
I think in Esfandiari's mind, he dies a little bit inside every time he has to fold the river, so it's a good fold. Actually, I just had a small sweat on Hellmuth versus Antonio yesterday, so that's fun.
Oh, which side did you pick?
I had Hellmuth.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome. For the people unaware, by the way, and thanks for bringing it up, we had High Stakes Duel Round 2 live last night, Antonio Esfandiari versus Phil Hellmuth. Hellmuth had won Round 1, and then they came back for Round 2, a $200K match. So obviously tremendously exciting, and Hellmuth... if you want to watch, you should do it right now. It is on YouTube. It is on Facebook.
Not right now. They're watching us. But...
Yeah, I know, but they have to queue it up or something, or save, or bookmark the link.
Multi-tabling.
I have 2 screens. Everyone at home has 2 screens nowadays. Anyway,
I'm actually not a huge. I don't watch a lot of poker. It's my job. I just don't want to watch it that much. But those 2 are entertaining as hell. If there's any poker that I'm going to watch, it's going to be Antonio versus Hellmuth battling it out. It's just, if you tune in for 5 minutes, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100%. It was just so much fun. I watched more poker than anyone I can think of because of all the poker that I've been involved in, and this is one of the most entertaining poker I've ever seen. And get this, they're not done yet because, spoiler alert, Antonio was the loser, and he re-challenged immediately. So they're going to be playing for $400K in the near future. We don't have a set date yet, but we'll announce that as soon as we can. And then we'll have a $400K match between Phil and Antonio. And by the way, this is the last chance for Antonio because if you lose 3 in a row...
Is it? That was my question. You lose 3 in a row. Oh, okay. So that's... My husband, we were trying to figure out how that works. So if you lose 3 in a row, you're done.
So basically, there's 2 sides of this right now. If you win 3 in a row, you win the duel and you win the payout. If you lose as a player 3 times in the same sequence, then you're also out. But there could be another player in between. You just only get 3 chances at it. So hypothetically speaking, let's say you were now playing Phil Hellmuth, then Antonio could challenge you after you beat Phil Hellmuth. So
Okay.
it might be a little complicated, but the exciting part is that if Antonio Esfandiari wins the 400K match, that means he's going to be playing for 800K.
Oh my! And if Antonio loses 3 in a row to Hellmuth, there is if we could hook up like a machine to like measure the tilt level, I would like to figure out what that is, because Antonio, oh my God, his head might explode.
Yeah,
I'm 100% watching the third match, no matter what.
Exactly. There's just no missing that match, because the thing is, I think this might be the most pressure Antonio has ever felt playing poker, because there was tons of people watching last night, and for him to lose 3 in a row in this fashion for these stakes against Phil Hellmuth.
Against Phil.
Oh.
Honestly, if Phil wins, both of their heads might explode. Like Phil's might just fucking pop because his ego is just gonna like explode, and Antonio, his head is just gonna explode out of pure rage.
Exactly.
No matter what, it's going to be great.
I can't wait. So stay tuned for much more of that. If you watch Run It Back twice a week, I'll update you guys on when the next show will be airing. Keep those questions coming and keep those comments coming as well. Fraught with Peril, interesting name, on YouTube says, I miss live poker. I'm about to drive to Maryland to play some live tourneys. Well, good luck. Be safe. Enjoy the show. And let me know the next time you come in the chat here how things are going. Wisco Baron says, Phil knows when to fold. Antonio doesn't. I mean, you could see that as a theme for the show. Phil had some white magic type reads last night that were absolutely scary. I don't know how he does it.
I tell you what, people continue to underestimate Phil Hellmuth, and he just gets it done in every single avenue. Like I mean, the guy, he's got the resume that, I mean, it's hard to even doubt him at this point. Like, he does some things that you're just like, it's unorthodox, whatever, but he just gets it done.
He does get it done, and that is the
and
style.
Antonio's got to be. I mean, like, Antonio's so sticky. Playing Antonio heads up, man, that's like a nightmare to me. No, thank you. Pass.
Oh my God,
terrible.
I'd love to see you in high stakes duel. That would be highly entertaining.
I have essentially 0 heads up. There's about a 0% chance you'll see me in a high stakes duel. There's no interest in me. No heads up experience, and I don't know. I don't need to swing. Those guys can take their crown there. I have no interest in challenging.
The beauty of the format is that it's going to escalate and escalate and escalate. And I joked with some colleagues, with Brent Hanks this morning. What about round 9 between Tom Dwan and Jungleman? Like, playing for $12 million. Like, it is possible. It is definitely a possibility. I mean, I don't know. I can't wait to see where this goes. After round 4, by the way, you only have to win back-to-back matches to win the duel. It's three in a row up until round 4, and then it's 2 in a row. So back-to-back wins is all that people need. Christian Soto says, here for D Moon. Well, I guess I'll leave then. I'll leave it to D Moon to run the show. And Nicholas Fitzgerald says, high stakes poker, the best with Gabe. Best poker show ever. Do more of this. Well, Nicholas, you better tune in as much as you can to Run It Back, because that's what I do. I watch high stakes poker. By the way, special themed week next week. I'll tell more on that later. Let's see.
We should have had a theme. Why didn't we have a theme?
I have a theme next week. Oh, I might as well just tell the story right now. I have Dan Smith and Ali Imsirovic on the show on Tuesday and Thursday. We're watching Poker Masters. So we have the 100K Poker Masters from 2018 and the 50K Poker Masters from the same year on Run It Back. So we're going to be doing some analysis of these hands that both Dan and Ali played in. That was the year that Ali won the purple jacket. So lots of interesting spots. This was when Imsirovic first burst onto the scene. No one really knew him, and now he's an established guy. Wins the 900K pot online and gets a blanket made out of it. So definitely up to legendary status already. Let's see, what else do we got here? We got Matthew McLean. We have Bloody Liar. Bloody Liar says Hellmuth had him in his pocket. I mean, I did feel as though he got under Antonio's skin, and that he managed to make the most of that in that sort of way.
Yeah, definitely it feels like that. And I can only imagine that's going to be like amplified for match 3, because like I said, the ego stakes here are just through the roof. Yeah. Forget the poker stakes. Antonio's ego is in it's in a precarious place right now.
It is in a very very fragile state. Let's just say that. Thomas Billings and Kareem are saying that Patrick Antonius is too sexy for high stakes poker. I think that is great.
Yeah, it's a little distracting. It's not really. I agree. It's not really fair.
It's really distracting to me as well. By the way, I can see Joe Hashim being a male model in his younger day as well. He's got that strong face.
And Daniel with those frosted tips. Let's not sleep on those.
Frosted tips, like that was the ultimate sign of the times, probably.
And the double hoop earrings.
And the collared shirt with the little vest over top.
Antonius looks the same still. Like, he still looks like that. Guy hasn't aged a day.
He probably like has some kind of blood replenishing monthly program going on to
whatever he's having.
Stay as young as he has. Shout out to Pat Maxwell sending us some stars on Facebook. I appreciate it, Pat. Really, really cool to have you in the chat with us. Patrick is saying action is great at the card houses in Texas. Please, Patrick, tell us some more about the action in Texas. I'm very curious to hear about that. Chrissy Stewart is saying the same thing. Come to Texas, 8-handed, no plexiglass with masks required. I have not gone yet, still not ready for that, but I hear it's great. It's pretty crazy, pretty intense.
Texas has like clubs, right? Or you'd pay a membership or something. There's some like loophole.
Yeah.
I don't know if casinos technically, right?
It's poker clubs, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
The
two besties going out here, Esfandiari and Laak.
Oh yeah, let's see.
I like it.
I wish there was
kind of an anticlimactic flop.
Yeah, I know. Oh, he checks behind.
Ooh, the check pack. What a sneaky bastard.
Oh, and nothing again.
He needled you, and then he forced you to like teach him a lesson.
Oh, I hear Howard talking. I'll turn it down a little bit. All right, so little pot there for Laak. Let's see what
Not
else
as
we
exciting as it could have been.
Christopher Riley is signing on Facebook. This is great. Well, thank you, Christopher, for watching. I really appreciate it. Steve Rodriguez says, I love these runners backs and you guys streaming it on Facebook. Appreciate it, PokerGo. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe on Facebook, on YouTube, whatever platform you prefer. I appreciate it. Baron is saying Texas is the best. I mean, come on. I'll argue with you on that one, but they're doing something right. That's for sure.
What would you argue is the best?
The best state or the best place in general? Like, it's a pretty broad discussion.
I don't know. Just, you'd say you'd argue. Like, what would you argue?
I'd argue that Vegas is really great.
Vegas is pretty great.
Yeah. I mean, okay, you're from.
Although there's all these people coming here right now, and I don't really like it.
Oh,
we're getting too big. I wanna like put a bubble around us. And be like, okay, stop moving here, everybody.
I thought you meant because of the reduced room rates. All the idiots on the strip.
That's got its own problems in itself. But as far as people actually moving here, stay away.
Yeah, exactly. Don't raise our house's prices even more. I have a small apartment, as you guys can see. I'm sitting in my kitchen / living room / bike garage. So
I see the bikes in the back there.
That's how I'm living. Keep those questions coming, by the way. If you guys have any for Danielle or myself, really appreciate all the people tuning in. Danielle, let's go back in time a little bit because I'm curious about your story as well. You made the move from, is Minnesota the Midwest? Is that
yes.
what's classified as? Okay. You made the move from Minnesota, from the Midwest to Las Vegas at a time where that was seemingly necessary given the circumstances. Black Friday, of course, threw a wrench in your life and all your plans. You were part of the Bet Race Full documentary from 2013. That is 7 years ago, by the way. It's kind of crazy to see how fast time moves. I mean, I know it moves day by day, but still, it feels like a long time ago. So take me back to the moment you decided to move and sort of change your whole life and how you expected that to go and how it has turned out.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of became to a point where it was like a no-brainer. We were living in Minnesota. The online thing, was kind of yanked out from under me. I was, at the time, traveling back and forth from the Commerce. I'd go for like 10 days at a time and then come home for like a month and a half and go back. And it was just so hard on the family. My son was young and it was just hard to be away. But it was kind of came to the point where it was like, I either need to move or I need to find a new job. And my husband and I, we'd always loved Vegas, and we kind of were from small town, like, you know what, let's just try it. And then Ultimate Poker came along, and they offered me a sponsorship, and that was like, okay, became like a no-brainer. Like, let's just do it, let's try it. But when you're from a super small town, like nobody moves, you don't move. It just seemed so much scarier than it was. It was like, felt like a huge leap of faith. But looking back, it was, the best thing that ever happened to us. Like, we just absolutely love it. It's beyond what we are wildest dreams of. We're just way happy. We weren't meant to live in a town of 10,000 people. My husband came from a town of 400 people and I came from a town of 2,000 people. So to us, Vegas is like huge. So we love it. We're very happy, and my son loves it too. He understands we love to go back in family, and we get a little bit of taste of Minnesota there, but we love having all the things to do here, all the options, and also just obviously, it's so much easier being a professional poker player in Las Vegas than it is in small town Minnesota.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I'm from a town of 800 people, so it's like right in between.
It's very rare that somebody has me beat for small town.
Yeah, exactly. A small town in the Netherlands, 800 people, and then now living in Las Vegas, it's still a bit strange sometimes, but it's sort of the same for me. I do love it here. I love living here. I love all the opportunities here.
Ooh, sick river. This is the.
Oh, what do we got?
Oh, I guess we have a full house. Okay, so it's not as sick as I thought.
Oh,
He's already built it up, but.
Let's see what happens.
Dwan with that signature open mouth. Look.
Always.
I don't know how he does that.
Dwan bet
Ooh,
9,400.
very small.
94.
When Phil Laak checked on the turn, Dwan realized he didn't have an overpair.
I check raised 669 and you called. And a 6 came.
He's betting a small amount of money here because I think he's putting Phil Laak on a flush.
He could also be just trying to induce a raise. Flock has 9 or
Right.
pocket 5s or smaller full house.
In the pot. Can you spread it out a little bit? So
It's kind of sexy.
It is very interesting.
Because you're so frustrated when you're in a lock spot. With any of those hands. You get a flush, you have a small full house, you're like, God damn it.
I don't think. I think you thought I was a big blind.
He's getting so much enjoyment out of this.
I don't know how these guys do it. Like the talking during a hand.
Can you show me both if I fold?
Not in my
I can see one
capabilities.
if I fold, but will you show me both?
All right.
See, he knows that that's the question that people ask. And then if they say all right, that means he has the quads or a full house. Because he would never say all right, because he knows that I know. That's a sign of weakness, but it's not.
That's the ultimate poker leveling game, right? No matter what answer you get.
Yeah. Even though I can't partake in table discussions like this, I love it. I wish the poker was more like this. I just can't do it because I give too much information away.
Oh, so you're dead silent all the time?
I mean, for the most part, if it's a really big hand, yeah. If it's like a casual environment, I might talk a little bit, but
How can I win?
any of these guys would destroy me in a table conversation type, game.
Even if you have 7-8, because you're sick and you just called for the straight, and then boom, you have a full house.
Boom, there it is.
So now you're value betting the weird full house. Now if I go all in and you have a 6, I feel sick, so I can't do that.
How did that enter his head?
Oh, I don't know what to do.
You don't have to do the spot. Here's where they're going to be. Had I gone all in? Yep. If I moved in, I would have won. Yeah.
I really don't know what he's gonna do.
I don't either. I was thinking, how does he fold? But then what does Dwan have that what kind of a bluff could he? Definitely doesn't beat much.
That's a straight, 7-10. What do I do? What do you want me to do, Dar?
Is it binding?
Show me one. Show me one card.
He can't.
B6, show me one card. I'll show you both right now if you show me one card. I'm never raising you, so I can show you both.
They'd both make you do the right decision.
Is that any good?
Wow. Isn't his hand dead? Once he shows it?
It's definitely not dead. Not here in sick land.
Sicko land.
So now he's saying, isn't it dead? So you really want me to call? Because now you know I can't win.
I really did think it was dead, but I want you to call, obviously. I mean, I need to have you beat, right?
Oh, I love this.
I feel like Dwan is out of his element here in the talking game.
Oh, yeah.
He actually just
How do you
did give
call 8?
Lock some.
I
How
raised.
could I have air? It's so hard.
I raised. What did I raise? A lot.
He's so confused.
You just called 15. You were like, yep, okay, 15.
Yep. Okay, 15.
Worst call in my life.
Really?
You should just paying them off.
Lock the borderline
Smaller
angle
POW.
shooting.
8.
7-8.
That's why I
Pocket
couldn't show
eights.
one.
He couldn't show one, you're right, because they both beat him.
Couldn't figure out the call in the turn.
Good call.
Dwan told the truth at every point in that hand.
I mean, Dwan picked the perfect sizing. If you think about how weak Locke's hand turned out to be, given the board,
Yeah.
just brilliant.
That was a fun hand.
Yeah, exactly. To Johnny in the chat on YouTube, if you don't want to hear us talk, there's one way out. Go to PokerGo.com right now and watch all these episodes on the PokerGo platform. This is episode 10 of season 5, in case you're keeping track. Appreciate you tuning in, though. Scold Pata says, casual convo for seeking a call to get a nice Tesla. Yeah, it's funny how these stakes are getting so insane. Danielle, do you still have to sort of disconnect yourself, or is it automatic now when you play poker? It's not money, because you were just talking about a straddle of $6,400. You know, I can only imagine if you let it sink in that it's impossible to play poker.
Yeah, I actually I just went to visit a friend, and we had this conversation because she was like clipping coupons or doing something, and I was like, I don't even compare prices. I just like, if I wanted to buy it, and she's like, what? And we had this conversation about why I'm like that. And I'm like, you don't understand. I'm like, I have to have a somewhat indifference to money, because if, you know, I'm wrapped up in every single dollar, like I just can't at the table, that doesn't translate, you know? So there's definitely like it's a fine balance to be a poker player, because you have to have enough indifference to money to be able to, you know, utilize it and apply pressure, but you can't have so much that you just blow up and, you know, burn it either. So that's where I'm lucky that I have like my husband. He like balances me out in that regard, because, you know, he's a teacher, he works hard for his money, very hard, and thankfully I don't have to worry too much because he keeps me in check. But at the poker table, no, like I just, you know, obviously when a loss is super huge or a win is super huge, you know, you feel it. But I kind of generally reserve my feelings for after the session is complete. And then even then, I probably only like feel the top 10%, the bottom 10%. Otherwise, it's just kind of all like, whatever.
Right. All right, we're back at it. Phil Laak 2 pair. Negreanu has top pair. This could be big.
You bet the do? I bet over 5,000.
Oh, Howard, just shut up.
I would bet you're
He does kind of an annoying voice.
Yeah, and it's like so belittling all the
It's
time.
only 10,000.
Phil's going to try and trap a little bit
I would feel like
and talk about something else,
So far, he's at
but he
430.
can't think of something else to talk about.
He thought he wouldn't pay 5,000.
9 on the turn.
that's a big spread. That's kind of like the Gus Hansen
2 hours is exactly
That's a big
honest on
spread
that.
right there. Yeah.
No, I
There's
wish Gus
probably
was in this episode.
Patrick and Phil would be the two people I'd pay most, probably. I mean, I assume you'd pay.
While we're seeing Laak count out a bet, Christopher is asking on Facebook, how much bankroll do I need to play on high stakes poker? Well, that's just a matter of how much you're willing to stomach as far as total losses of your net worth. I believe that when we bring back high stakes poker for season 8, it's going to be at the very minimum 200, 400, but I'm assuming it's probably going to be 400, 800 or something above that. So, you know, do the math on how many big blinds you would like to sit down with. And if you want to play, just hit us up on Twitter. And, you know, if you have enough money, who knows? And it's high stakes poker. Whoever has the most money can probably play on the show. All right, 18-5 from Laak. Check raise from Negreanu, 43,500. That is a big raise.
It's an interesting check raise.
I don't really know why. Why is he check raising?
I don't know. I'm honestly kind of confused. So, like,
Daniel wants to find out.
not a bluff, but that's pretty thin for value.
This screams.
You just want to end the hand?
Right, but it screams to me like raising to find out where you're at. And in many cases, he's either going to get a quick fold or, you know, a call or a raise from something that he's not going to be happy with.
A deuce.
Wow, what a strange hand.
Phil's very happy
Yeah.
to see that check.
I'm really perplexed by
54,200.
that check raise.
He bets 54,200 immediately.
Wow.
These guys
When
act so
Daniel
fast.
raised him,
Yeah.
Impressive.
Phil was hoping that Daniel did not have a set of kings or a set of nines. When Daniel checked in the river, he's pretty confident he has the best hand right now.
3-5.
I feel like if you check raise here and get called,
You ask Antonio if he
And
wants a
then
little more
they're-
noise
I
with
mean-
his pair.
I feel like you can probably find a fold here.
Yeah, I just think the check raise on the turn makes this hand so much more complicated for Daniel.
$55,000.
Yeah, and it's very possible that he was kind of doing that to see where he. But I would think he would, if that was his plan.
Right.
It's a pretty clear fold. Oh, those bricks of money are so sexy.
They
I
are.
wish we could do that again.
It's been a while. They outlawed that in Vegas, right? In like cash games?
Yeah, when I first moved here, we could still have cash on the table, but it was only like 6 months or so. It's taken off. But look at those bricks.
Oh. As a famous philosopher once said, the cash just looks so sweet.
I did see. I was in a game once where somebody rebought with they reached in their backpack and pulled out a literal saran wrap like $100,000. Oh, look at this. We
Oh.
got smoky drink. If You want to say hi, babe? Come wave for the fans.
Wait for the fans. Oh,
Look at
the
it's
bartender.
he's the special occasion. I requested he make me this.
Oh man, what I would do
Thank you.
for a drink like that right now.
Oh, look! I don't even know if you can see this, but there's smoke in this bottle.
Open it so we can see it come out.
I will. Okay. Hope this comes across as cool as it is. You
Yes,
see this?
yes. We can see
Oh
it.
my God! Is this not freaking drink porn right now, or what?
That is amazing. Oh man. Okay.
Oh my God.
As soon as I can drink again, I'm coming over for drinks. This is
Awesome deal. Don't tempt me with a good time.
No, exactly. I mean, it's been a while since we've even seen each other, and we've promised to hang out
No.
more. So that's kind of a
The
sham.
last time, have we even seen each other since Negreanu's wedding? If we have, it's been very brief.
It's been in passing at the Rio probably.
Yes. But I feel like we bonded very quickly.
Yeah,
Did
exactly.
Negreanu fall there? I missed it. Sorry, I was very distracted by this.
We were distracted by the drinks.
What a hero. Marry up, boys and girls. Marry up. It's the new thing. He just learned how to do this. So it's very good. Highly recommend it.
Oh,
It's got like the cedar chips. He like lights on fire.
ooh.
Oh, so good.
He does lay it
Hey,
down.
y'all want to meet my dog? Because she's in here right now. And I'm
Absolutely, we want to meet the dog.
Come here, Hallie. What's better than cocktails?
And dogs on the stream? That's
Come
perfect.
here. Oh,
Oh
Say
my
hi.
God, that is amazing.
this is Hallie.
That is so cool.
She's our collective family baby girl. This is actually my son's distance learning setup.
Oh,
And he has her in his lap for most of his like school. So she's pretty accustomed to being like in this exact position. She like relaxes. She sleeps on the desk. I've got all sorts of cute pictures.
we're getting lots of puppy love already in the chat. I appreciate it.
Hi.
This is awesome. Fraught with Peril says we need to make Danielle a regular guest. I think that's a great idea.
Thanks, friend.
And Christian Soto once again chiming in. D Moon Girl is just too cool. Ross is saying, "Why aren't you drinking?" Well, Ross, let me tell you real quick. It's a really sad story. I have a weight loss bet that ends on October 7th. I'm still 4 pounds off my weight. And every single weekend for the last 4 weekends, I put on all the weight that I lost from Monday to Friday. So I'm at the same weight today that I was last Thursday and the Thursday before and the Thursday before. So there's sort of a pattern that has been sort of in my life. So I've decided that until October 7th, I'm not going to drink. And I'm going to lock the doors, tell my girlfriend to not invite me to dinner this weekend. And I just got to lose the weight because otherwise I lose way too much money. It's $500 for every pound that I'm over my target weight. And I'm not very rich, so that's hurts way too much. The good thing is that I will probably make it, but other people in the bet, we have about 15 people in the bet, might not make it, and with their collective penalties, I can buy a few rounds of drinks in the future. So that should be.
So it's like a pool. So anybody who doesn't make it has to throw in, and then the ones who did chop it up. Is that?
Yeah, exactly. So everyone in the bet had to lose 10% of their body weight, and for every pound you're over your target goal, you owe $500. So.
Okay.
It's pretty intense. It's been a 4-month bet. I'm down quite a bit, but we're still working on it. The original hair is asking, how old is Hallie?
She's about 4, but we adopted her when she was like less than years. We're not like we're guessing. That's what the bet says, anyways.
Right. Wisco Baron says, what's the drink exactly? Give us the rundown.
Oh, I would have to ask
The
Corey,
bartender.
but if it was the same as the last time, it was Angel's Envy rye and a tiny bit of salted caramel whiskey. I don't know
Wow.
what brand, just a little bit for sweetness, and then some bitters. That was what it. But he's the bartender, like, so I don't even know, to be honest. But I think that was it. It's very, very good though. Excellent.
Oh, sounds good.
It's like
All
a
right.
special occasion.
We got Dwan betting with the top 2 pair. Negreanu with ace 8. Let's see where this goes.
Just casually having dinner in the middle of a 50K hand.
Oh, by the way, on High Stakes Duel last night, wasn't the funniest moment Hellmuth trying to eat his burger?
I missed it, but everybody said it was so funny. I need to go back and rewatch that part.
That was just truly hysterical. I could not stop laughing at that. And Ali and Nick had the best commentary on that moment. Oh, and then he eats his burger, he finishes it, and you know what he chases the burger with? He adds a few Sour Patch Kids while he's eating his burger. Can you believe that?
He's so funny. What a toolbox.
Just insane. Well, the deuce on the turn is pretty interesting here because, you know, it chops out all the other aces that are lower.
And now it makes it look like you're trying to push off a chop.
Exactly.
don't think Daniel's going out here.
Got an ace, right? Okay, you can tell me.
It's okay. This is a safe place. Tell me what you got,
Has to
Tom.
have an ace.
I wonder what stack sizes are here. They're
Yeah.
all crazy deep, right?
Yeah, they are usually a couple hundred big blinds deep.
And Daniel makes it $50,000 more.
What?
See?
Well, in another circumstance, this would be a pretty good
What?
play by Daniel. If Dwan had an ace
looking
with a
at?
jack, ace 10, Dwan had a flush draw.
Wow.
If Dwan has anything but the kind of hand he has, ace queen, it would be a good play by Daniel.
Yeah.
Dwan's actually a little confused here.
Okie dokie.
I don't think Dwan is probably
He's
confused.
wondering what Daniel is doing.
No, Dwan is probably very much enjoying this moment.
I think Daniel's like, well, I don't want to get pushed off a chop, so I'm going
Dwan
to try and
thinks
push
what
him off a
Daniel
chop.
could have ace deuce. He could have 4 deuces. All the hands that Daniel's run into on high stakes poker, he could have one of them here.
I'm really wondering what's going through either one of their heads.
Got an ace.
Both players
Oh,
check
check,
the
check.
river. I'm surprised
what?
when Daniel
What?
checked that
Come
Dwan
on.
didn't value bet.
We did not want to see
So you
that.
did have an ace.
What kind of an image is there? I'm so confused.
Wow. So
I don't know anything.
Dwan was on the button and check behind. That is surprising to me, as much as Daniel's check is surprising as well. But
I'm so confused.
that hand could have. So weird. So much going on
'Cause
there.
I guess, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm not fully aware of the pre-flop action, but he's got blockers for aces and queens. So would Daniel have
A deuce.
had some sort of a deuce in there? Because the 2 should be a good card for Dwan because it means Daniel's very much less likely to have pocket deuces.
Exactly.
So,
Huh. Get Tom on the phone. Get his explanation. Come on. You
Get right back to
you must have one of his 7 phone numbers. A shout out to Philip and Steve and Craig in the chat, as well as our top fan JR. Thanks so much. Appreciate you being in the chat,
top
JR.
fan. That's cool.
Shout out to you. Good to see you doing well. JT says these commentators are trash. I hope you're talking about Gabe Kaplan and not about Danielle Andersen and myself. We're trying to entertain you guys here. If you don't want to listen to us talk, I'll say it once again. Go to PokerGO.com right now. Watch all 7 seasons without us talking, which some people might enjoy. We have a lot of people very, very confused about the way Dwan played the hand, and we have people asking, "Have you ever played with Dwan?" Ross in particular is asking if you have.
it's funny because I feel like that's something that I should immediately know. I don't think I have. If I would have, it was a long time ago. Maybe I went to a. I don't think so. I've hung out with Dwan a decent amount before, like back in the day, like 8 years ago, maybe.
Right.
I don't think we ever played together though.
Yeah. Dwan, of course, nosebleeds all the way. Even back, like, what were you playing in 2009? Like, what stakes were you grinding?
I mean, my standard before Black Friday was I was playing like a lot of 25-50, 6 max. I played a lot of cap games, 25-50 cap. The biggest I played was 200, 400 heads up, which was insane now looking back. Because I said I had 0 heads up experience, but I guess I lied. I have like a tiny bit, but I had no clue what I was doing. If you look back, I mean, I was clicking buttons just against a very select special opponent, I'll say. So I actually, like, prior to this last 2 years, probably one of the biggest hands of my was played 200, 400 heads up, playing in a gazebo in a thunderstorm in northern Minnesota with like spotty internet connection, literally like a thunderstorm at like this tiny little camping resort that my husband's family was on family vacation. There.
No way.
I had somebody at that time you could like player search people, so I paid a couple people to scout and let me know when this particular person was online, and it was like, and I'd be like a race to whoever could sit with them first. I guess you could this is the definition of bum hunting.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, basically we were on vacation and I got this, we're like playing Uno. His family vacation, which like his family wasn't super aware of. I mean, they knew that I played poker, but definitely didn't know the stakes, wasn't maybe the most approving. And I get this text, this person sitting by themselves waiting for a heads up opponent. The only internet connection was like down by the little like house where you check in. So I like run down there with my laptop.
Oh my God.
pouring rain, like lightning. I'm in this gazebo, and I get it in with bottom 2 pair. It was like king 4-6. I have 4-6. He has like king deuce, and for a small house, and the turn is like an 8 and the river is an 8, so he counterfeits me.
No.
And then he snap leaves, and I lose like the biggest hand of my entire life, and I have to walk back up to the house and get back into like the Uno game and pretend like nothing ever happened.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Oh my God. That's
But now it's a funny story. So
yeah, after a couple of years, when the deep wounds that scar your soul,
Yes.
you have to be able to joke about those. Otherwise,
usually everybody out there should remember that if you're a poker player, because every single like the deepest wounds that I have in poker, in time they somehow become funny. And maybe this is some weird twisted psychological coping mechanism, but now I look back at all and I'm like, that's funny.
yeah, it's the same for me. It's on a smaller scale, but it's the same for me. Like the only time I was close to cashing a WSOP event, I lost 3 hands in a row in Badugi in the 10-game mix, the 2.5K or the 1500 against Bruno Fertucci, legend Bruno Fertucci. 3 hands in a row in Badugi, and George Dancer, who had a piece of my action, was standing on the rail. We're talking through the hands, and I was so dejected. I was like 3 spots off the money, losing these hands. I was so dejected, and George told me, one day this will be a funny story, and it is. Now it is a funny story. Me against Bruno Fertucci. Who would have known?
I final tabled the ladies event a couple years ago, and I don't play tournaments. I play the main event and I play ladies event, and so a World Series poker bracelet is like a dream for most people. For me, it's like I play 2 tournaments a year. I'm never gonna like have a shot. Maybe in the ladies event, whatever. But I final table. We come back for 10 hand, and I'm like I don't know 3rd, 4th in chips or something. The best seat best seat draw that I could get, and come back for the final table the next day. So like my friends are on their way there with like signs and it's like all this like building excitement. I feel like I'm in such a good spot. And I second hand of the day. Second hand. Second hand. It was definitely not 3 hands. It was either the first or the second. It might have been the first hand. I think it was second though. I flop an outside straight draw. Jessica Dolly calls me. She has a gut shot, bigger one. She's like the one that I'm most worried about. We're the like 2 bigger stacks. And I turn the second nuts and she turns the stone nuts. I have like 8-10 on like a Jack 9X, and the river or the turn is a king, and she has, or no, I don't know.
Turns a queen and she has ace.
Turns a queen and she has king 10.
King 10, right?
Or it was like, I don't know, whatever. She turned a gut shot for the second nuts. I like before I'm like, so I like am out before I can even get my bearings, and I'm walking out, and all my friends are like walking in with their signs, and they're like, "Good luck today."
Oh no!
My husband wasn't even there; he was parking the car.
Oh no!
Poor guy. Like, I'm out. He's like, "What?"
Oh, so brutal.
Yeah, but now, like, I mean, I'm legitimately laughing, and it's like,
right,
kind of funny. And Jess Dolly went on to win it, and she was very deserving, so at least. But yeah.
Wow.
No, that was like the single most, it wasn't the most amount of money, but that was the single most like intense, acute pain of my entire poker career.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Because it was just like gone. So it was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what the hell,
Let's make this a safe space for everyone. If you're in the chat right now on YouTube or Facebook, tell Danielle your worst bad beat story. And I don't want to hear, aces against kings, king on the river. No, I want to hear the story of why that bad beat scarred your soul. I want to hear the stories in the chat, and the best ones, I'll read them on the air, and we'll see if we can get some sympathy out of Danielle for your bad beat stories.
We had a whole new lineup here. What happened?
Yeah, I was going to say we have a new lineup. We have Dario Ranieri. We have Ellie Lesser in the mix. We have Phil Laak still there. Tom Dwan is still there. We have Viffer in the mix. Who else do we have? Let's see. We have Mike Baxter in the mix in the 1 seat.
Oh.
And we have Alan Meltzer, RIP Alan Meltzer, in the 8 seat. Good friend of many high-stakes players over the years, has played for decades in Las Vegas. He passed away a few years ago, but he definitely loved to play high stakes. And yeah, we'll see how this lineup develops, because there's clearly a lot yet to happen in this lineup. We haven't really seen any big hands yet. And for the people who are unfamiliar with the format of this show, if you're just tuning in, on Run It Back, we watch back some old poker footage while usually having a beverage and just, talking.
I'm representing.
Exactly.
At least one of us is getting the job done.
Well, you have 2 drinks, one for me and one for you. So I'm glad.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm glad that
this
you're
is almost here. This can be
see there it is.
Forever visual of Danielle.
Double fist and drinks in my honor. I appreciate that. But yeah, so anyway, we have a new lineup here on High Stakes Poker. This is season 5, episode 11 that we're on right now. Next week is going to be Poker Masters with Ali Imsirovic and Dan Smith analyzing some tournament play. The week after, we'll watch the season finale of season 5, and then we'll decide whatever we pivot into next. Maybe we'll do some Poker After Dark. Maybe we'll do some other stuff. But anyway, for now, keep those bad beat stories coming. We'll pick out a few in just a bit. Farhad on Facebook is saying that he's in love with Negreanu. I love to hear that.
Oh, I thought he was going to say in love with me. I mean, come on, guys.
I mean, I think
a slow roll.
I think. Okay, let's get some love going in the chat for Danielle. She needs it right now. It's been a rough couple of months. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff, and we'll keep you guys entertained twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday. Anyway, we have Doyle Brunson here with a 6. We have Dwan here with the gut shot, which is basically the nuts. If your name is Tom Dwan, this hand could go somewhere. I can feel it.
And right now, the Big Pop is firmly in his seat. He's not moving.
Yep.
He's not going anywhere.
What a boss.
Now, if Ace or
Doyle
King would
is.
come up here,
Yeah, do you have any Doyle stories?
I just almost got run over by him in his scooter. I mean, we've interacted, like we were friendly or whatever, but I don't have any good Doyle stories, unfortunately. I would love to. But.
The one person who ran into my ankles was Amarillo Slim. My first
that's a sick
WSFP
brag.
hit me in the ankles with his scooter. He came around the bend right by the rotunda and just like smashed me in the ankles. And he said,
Yeah.
"I'm not gonna do the accent that he has." Excuse me, and I was like, "I mean, you already hit me, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do."
Doyle flies with that scooter. He's like, get out of the way. You're going down. He's not stopping to talk to nobody.
Exactly. Those scooters are dangerous.
There's been some crazy videos of people on the strip with those scooters in the last couple weeks. Madness of Vegas right now.
Oh, Vegas is like The Walking Dead right now. It's crazy.
It's a weird place. I mean, it's fine where we live, but strip is weird.
Yeah. Come on, Dwan. Bet 50K, please. Oh, too bad.
Check.
5s.
well, I would say that hand worked out pretty good
It's
for
a
the Big
reasonable check
Papa.
for both.
So I believe Doyle Brunson won on every season of High Stakes Poker, and Negreanu lost on every season of High Stakes Poker. And this is one of the reasons why Doyle just waits for people to bluff into him, or at least bet into him when he has a decent hand.
Lost status.
We have someone on YouTube, Der Vegane, German person, a German vegan. I think that's what his name is supposed to mean. He says, any news about Jason Summerville from dmoon? How is Jason Summerville doing? Do you still talk to him? I have not heard from him in many, many months.
I haven't talked to him in a few months, but every time I talk to him, he's doing quite well. He's living the dream. He's kind of doing his own thing. So I think he got a little, back in the run-up day, he was loving it, but got a little bit worn down, a little too like work-centric, and he's seemed to like have stepped back a little bit, get some perspective, and is just enjoying life a little more now. But I haven't really talked to him in a little bit. I should text him right now.
Yeah, go text
So,
Jason.
Jason,
See if we can
what's up?
find out what he's up to. Craig.
The fans want to know.
Craig Myers sends on Facebook, Danielle heart eyes. I think that
There we go. Thanks. Yeah,
that saves the day. Thanks Craig for saving the day. I appreciate it. James comes in with a bad beat story. He says pocket deuces, flop was jack, deuce, jack. I checked, they bet, I called. Turn was an 8, and I checked, they bet, I raised and went all in. He called, and he had jack 8 offsuit. Well, that is just a sad story. It's no, not quite.
Do you want to
there.
hear another? Well, I'm not going to give the full story, but I will tell you in the, for sure, top 3 biggest pots I've ever played in my life. I was slow rolled for over 5 minutes on the river.
Wow.
Or no, actually, it was pre-flop. Sorry, I'm screwing up the details here. It was like a triple straddle crazy thing where I back re-raised all in with ace king, and they did the like cut it out, like count my chips, like blah 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 blah. He had aces, and then we ran 2 boards, and it was the first one was like king high. So I was like, all right, I'm good here. He didn't show didn't show his cards. I did, and second one was like 2 2 4 4, so it was like double paired. So I was like, well, it could be chopping, like probably chopping. And he like counted out the stacked, like pay me out. Then he flipped over aces. Good times.
Yeah. It's too bad. Did you?
In fairness, I will say it was a game where it was known, like it was stated that slow rolls were allowed and encouraged. However, I didn't ever partake in that because it's just like not in my nature to slow roll, and I'm also just like not good at it. It's like I never ever did that to anybody else. So I was almost like immune from everybody else, I was like excluded. And then the one time that I slow rolled, it was
so painful. So now you've told 2 stories of hands you've lost, and you said those are both in the top 3. So did you win at least one of the hands in the top 3 of your biggest hands ever?
I mean, I'm sure I did, but those just aren't as memorable. Isn't that like,
Yeah,
isn't
that's
that the
true.
cruel, like, Oh, I know. Okay. I have a good story about, it wasn't the biggest like monetary, but it was arguably one of the bigger like impact on my life. This is way back in the online poker days. I'm going to screw up the exact details here, but I was playing something like 2-4 regularly. And my husband and I, he understood variance and bankroll management like long before I did, even though he wasn't the poker player. So it's almost like my manager. So, he kind of like oversee what I was doing. So I'm like, I'm going to jump up with 3 buy-ins. I'm fine. I got him, and he'd be like, what are you doing? So it was somewhat in the struggle between us there. So I was playing like 2-4, was bankroll for 2-4. I chased this fun player up to like 5-10, won a little bit. They sat at like 10-20. And I decided to follow them and sit with probably like, I don't know, a fourth my bankroll or something. It was like, I maybe had like 10, 11, 12K to my name, and I sat with 2K. And he's disapproving, very much disapproving. And I'm like, shh, I'm playing. And I double or triple up, something like that. So I go from like, my total bankroll started was like 10K, and I'm sitting there with like 6K.
Oh, wow.
And I just like, and he's like, leave. Like, my husband is like, granted, he's completely right. Like, I was completely wrong to do any of this. How I didn't go broke, I have no idea. But I'm like, I can't leave. I paid for my blinds. I got to play to the blinds.
Of course.
He's like, are you stupid? But I give him my laptop, but then I was playing my laptop. I was like, here. I'm like, I promise, I'll leave you the blinds. And I give him the laptop. This is where you guys can cancel me for like ghosting or whatever. Like, this is like the anti-ghosting part of my poker career. And I'm like, here, you can fold anything that's not aces. And I walk away, and I'm like, until my blinds, and then I'll leave. And I like walk away, and like, a minute later, he's like, Danny. And I come over and I have aces.
No way. Yeah. Oh, I love this.
And some guy like raises into the gun. And like I said, this is like 10-20. So he probably raised like $80. And I like re-raised just a silly amount. I re-raised like 800 or something. And I have probably 6K in front of me. And it comes around to the guy, and he goes all in. And I call, and there's no run it twice feature at this time. I call, and he has ace king, and the flop comes like, king XX whatever, and he breaks out, and I like triple my bankroll in a wildly irresponsible spot, and I'm pretty sure we were both like running around the house like screaming like, what the fuck? It's a good story.
Oh, yeah. I love that. That is truly a great story.
It was sick. I should have never been there to begin with, and then all of a sudden I had like 2K and ran it up to like 12, 13K. I mean, like literally doubled my bankroll. And this is like, I was playing for a living at this point. This wasn't just, in the initial stages of degeneracy running up. I was paying our rent dependent on this. So do not do that, boys and girls. I would not recommend. Could have gone bad. Thankfully it went well. So
the one moment you take a shot at 10-20, the next moment you find yourself living in Las Vegas. That's just how life goes.
It's like one thing led to another.
Exactly. Shout out to Diego, Peter, Gonzola, Ari, Lance on Facebook. Appreciate you guys all watching. Lucas, Pat, Steven on YouTube, and a lot of the regulars, of course, still in there as well. People were anticipating this 10-20 story to be a bad beat story as well. Finally, we got
a good one.
We got a good one. Finally, I appreciate it. Really, really cool to have you guys.
Somebody, I forgive me for not remembering the name of who it was, but somebody asked me to prepare my best like degenerate stories, and I was like, that's a good one because that is wildly irresponsible and it ended well.
That is a great degenerate story. I really appreciate that. That's awesome.
And then my husband was like, "You idiot! Go back to 3-6, 2-4, whatever." He didn't really call me an idiot, but he was always the responsible one. That I always say that I'm the poker player, but he's arguably like as important to my career as anything that I've been able to do because he was always the voice of reason,
right, reining
me in.
So let me ask you a serious question. with a husband and a son, how do you, in normal times, how do you manage that? Because so many times I see tweets from you at all hours of the night. I see a bottle of Dom Perignon on your Instagram. I see you playing in these big games. And then I guess driving home when the sun's coming up and, you know, you've got two people at home who live somewhat of a normal life. So how do you strike that balance, and how do you keep the train rolling without it derailing in that sort of way?
Well, I mean, as my son's gotten older, it's obviously allowed me more like liberty with, you know, he's more independent. I don't have to, you know, he's kind of used to, you know, he can get himself up to school, and we live, you know, very near his school. And my husband's obviously very supportive. He understands that sometimes, like, you know, part of my profession is being social and doing these things and staying up at all hours of the night and coming home when the sun comes up. So it wasn't always like that. When we first moved here, my son was younger, and I would, this might be an interesting hand.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Let's pause.
Pause the story. Dario Manieri has top pair and a flush draw. Viffer has top pair. These guys are both very aggressive.
Dario looks like he's 15.
Yeah, he does.
Somebody check that his ID.
Most players would be content to call and hope a flush comes in.
The diamond cross around Dario's neck is probably worth more than the money he's sitting down with.
With the queen high flush draw. Yeah.
I love how he announces raise verbally, and then he's like stumbling with the chips.
A really big hand, but it shows he's got a lot of imagination.
How long are you in Vegas for, Dario?
I can't
Depends on this hand.
For you.
All right.
Wow.
I was gonna say it depends from this hand. That's why I want
I just wanted to make sure you bought your plane ticket home before.
It was a fast. It took you too long to raise this.
Viff is the best, huh? He's
I
like
know
super
they're deep,
pro.
but I wish I knew exactly how deep they are.
Yeah. I think we're about to find out how deep they really are.
Yeah.
You want to make sure I got my flight back.
The Venetian has gondolas. Long way back to Italy by gondola.
Dario can't just call on here. He's got to go all in. He can still win if a heart comes up and Viffer doesn't catch a queen or a nine.
I mean, we're all in here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I generally fly by the theory that I'm like, whatever, I gotta have some outs.
Exactly.
I mean,
Oh, what?
I don't know anything. Maybe this is case money. Dario's a degenerate. I don't know.
It must be case money.
About Jack 10 of hearts?
I mean, why would you ever check raise there if you're not willing
Again,
to?
it's very dependent on how deep they are. I mean,
Yeah, it's fair.
but yeah, I mean, I'm probably not check raising there if I'm ever full, like.
Right. Ay, Dario,
Gross.
come on. And like, you know, you can ask Viffer to run it twice.
I mean, Dario today was. I'm pretty sure that Dario can't possibly be more happy to get the money in the pot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very, very strange spot. Dario Manieri, however, we haven't seen him.
Maybe he is also nervous because I don't know how much experience he had on TV at this point. But I will say that like until you have been under the lights a few times, and you know, it's a very different experience. Personally, for me, anyways.
Right.
It took me a few times to just stop thinking about being fearful of looking dumb on TV, and you know, to just being like, fuck it, whatever. I'm just gonna play my game.
It's just a game of poker.
Yeah.
There just happen to be some cameras on it. And when you're playing against Viffer, who's super aggressive, you know, you should be even less inclined to fold. With Viffer being
He
so
only had
aggressive.
like a one buy and leash, and he's like, this is such a good spot that, you know, I mean, who knows?
Exactly. All right, Viffer limping, Meltzer. Wow, oh, this is just trap on
Is that an
trap.
under the gun open limp?
Yeah, it is. Let's see.
I
This
don't
might.
think the solvers these days approve of that.
I don't think they do. No, they don't. Let's see what I got in the chat going on over here.
Oh, well, I was finishing your question about.
Oh yeah, we're still in the middle of a story. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, about how. So it's progressed because when I first moved here, I had my son was younger, so I'd have to get him up for school, get him breakfast, so I'd wake up at 6:30 a.m., get him off to school, and then I would go directly to the only game that you could find in Vegas that was 5-10 or above, which is at Bellagio. I'd play 5-10 Bellagio, and then I would play for till 1-2 p.m. and I'd go back and pick him up, and that was like my day. So that was like a very set schedule. As he's gotten older and he's far more independent, and then as my husband also has gotten more wiggle room with his job, I have more wiggle room with mine to be able to be flexible with long sessions and stuff like that.
Right.
So people always ask me like, how do you do poker like with a family? And I'm like, how do you do poker without? Because like, no matter how much poker sucks, like I go home and I have something else. It's not poker. So it's a lot easier to achieve that balance.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I feel like if you don't have anything that sort of reels you back into reality every now and then, you might just like live on the strip and stay at the Bellagio for 3 months on end and just
There's
never.
a lot of poker players who do that. I'm like, do you ever go home? Like, do you do anything?
Right. That's it's pretty nuts.
Meanwhile, interesting hand too.
Meanwhile, Meltzer has thrown in 25K after raising Viffer on the flop. Viffer called the raise on the flop and now calls 25K on the turn. Let's see the river card. Lots of possibilities there. Meltzer ends up with just ace high, breaking both his gut shot and his flush draw.
Check. I got a queen.
It went check,
What?
check. And then Alan Meltzer said he had a queen. I guess he said that because he knew Viffer had a king, or he felt Viffer had a king. But if Viffer had a hand like 9-10 or something, that could have been a disaster if Viffer threw his hand away.
We talked to Alan
Maybe he just misread his hand.
Yeah, I think it's most likely.
Really did have a queen.
Oh, the reader misread the hand, and he had a queen.
We played together. Johnny raises with a substantial.
Oh, this is an old
raise.
hand from.
The other guys drop out, and I realize I have a chance to play heads up with Johnny Chan. It wasn't a matter of what it cost at that time. I said, I'm going to go home and tell my friends that I played with Johnny Chan. And so I called Johnny Chan. I was queen 8. Flop was 8-8 queen. He thought I was a fish, and he bet his 9s, and I smooth called him. A 9 comes on the turn. I can't believe it, but I'm screwed. I just got beat. Johnny's got a full house 9s over 8s. I just sat there languishing. Johnny bets again, and I call him, and a queen comes on the river. And Johnny puts me all in. That was my first big hand of poker. I won like $30,000, $40,000.
You're 1,600.
That's awesome. He just loves it. Alan Meltzer. It's really, really cool to see him on the show. I'm glad we had him as part of it. I think he was good friends with Tom Dwan as well. Let's see what else we got going here. You guys in the chat.
You love the people who just love poker. You can just tell that guy loved poker.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. You can see it in his eyes.
And he had an experience that he's, can take that away.
Right, and it's a good explainer for people who wonder, why do recreational players play high stakes with these top players? Well, that's also part of the reason why, so they can tell their friends that they've played against Johnny Chan. And as rounders goes, I sat with the best and beat him.
If you got money, if you're a basketball fan and you had the opportunity to play with LeBron James, that's what's great about poker is if you got the money, you want to sit down, you can play with your heroes. It's pretty cool.
Exactly. For the people in the chat, do let me know where you're watching from. We always do this every single show, and I'm always curious to see if we have some interesting countries here. We have people lying every single week about being in Afghanistan. I have yet to see proof of that, but we have gotten some interesting places from all corners of the world, so please do let me know where you are watching from. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. Really appreciate it. Kelly Lewis says, RFID was not approved for play during this shoot. Well, RFID didn't exist back when this was happening, or at least not in the same capabilities that we know now. So they used the old-fashioned cameras under the table. An interesting side story on that, while Lesra flops a full house, is that these cameras were all individually linked to, a big sort of I guess you call it a storyboard or something, where they had individual feeds of all the cameras, and there was just a person writing down all the hole cards. Like, just imagine. Nowadays, it's all automatic. RFID, PokerGO Studio is, top of the line technology. And it is even so cool with the PokerGO RFID, and I've seen this. I've seen like the technology and how it happens. When you fold your cards and you throw them towards the dealer, the system underneath the felt recognizes the cards are moving towards the dealer, meaning that it shows as a fold on the screen, which is really cool. I just wanted to drop that little nugget in there. Meanwhile, Minieri makes a pair of aces on the river here. This could get costly.
Look at Ellie. He's like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. Oh, he's gonna lay down.
Do you think it's a real leather jacket?
Choose this time.
I can't even begin to guess on this type of thing.
Maybe thinking that Dario's made aces and will call him. But I would think if he thought that, he would check and let Dario make a value bet.
I have to guess now. Yes. Really raise it blind? Did you?
Tell you after the hand.
If you raise it blind or not?
Well, hell, I want to know.
Dario
Did you raise it
cannot
blind?
beat a flush. He cannot
He
beat an
couldn't have.
8,
No way he did.
or he cannot beat ace king, ace queen. Any other ace would be a split.
Wow.
Good
Good
lay
fold,
down.
I really
Dario.
realized that looking at 2 paint, I didn't know which paints though.
Blind raising, blind checking. How much in your game do you deviate from what you know is good poker just to force some action or just to please some of the players in the lineup who want things to be a bit more spicy than usual?
I mean, it's somewhere between. I'm definitely not a just total straight up GTO player. Sometimes you just got to go to the streets, and it is. You want to keep the game entertaining. Like some of the games I play in, they're like invite only, and I'm generally happy to have some cocktails at the table, and I think I pay my entry with a fair share of gambling, but I'm also not in a position to just consistently completely light money on fire. So it's a little bit of a balance.
Right. It seems a little complicated, that whole live scene and how
It's very complicated.
right. I mean, does online make it more complicated or less complicated?
Less complicated, I think. Although pre-COVID times, less complicated for sure, I would say. As this is happening, there is more like, private clubs and stuff like that, where it's kind of the same, like social network kind of a thing where you gotta, not everybody's invited to play. And if you're invited to play, not everybody gets to stay,
God, what a weird time. Back in the day, you just show up with your hard-earned cash and you just sit down at the table. All right, a few shout-outs here to people in the chat. We have Miami, Philippines. We have Oregon, Rockaway Beach. We have Hampton, Virginia, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington. We have Italy, Albania. Ooh, late at night for the Europeans. I appreciate that. We have NorCal. We have Argentina. We have Mars. Finally, another planet watching. I appreciate it. It's been a long time. We have Sweden, 3 a.m. I really appreciate that as well. Oklahoma in the house. More Baltimore. We have Melbourne, Australia. Appreciate it as well. The original hair is asking, have you ever played in Macau? Have you traveled for poker much? Have you been anywhere?
I have not played in Macau. Actually, I don't know if he was 100. I think he was serious, but I didn't really commit to it. But back in the day, Tom Dwan offered me a large sum of money if I could learn Mandarin.
Wow.
Under the pretense that I could then get into some of the games in Macau. But learning Mandarin is not an easy thing. I would have had to literally commit my entire life to it. And I didn't want to travel, I had a young son. So I was like, it's not really conducive with my lifestyle right now. But no, I have not been to Macau.
Turning.
Honestly, if I'm going to go that far, I feel like I want to people are always like, oh, do you play poker? I'm like, I'm going to travel somewhere and go that far. I don't want to play poker. I want to see the place, So
Right.
if I'm going to go all the way over to Asia, I want to travel and eat good food, whatever. I don't want to sit and grind.
Right, for
Not
sure.
my first priority.
I mean, this is one of the most fascinating things I've ever heard, though. Being offered money to learn a language so that you can play in these crazy games. If you had if you were single and had no life whatsoever, would you have committed your life? Was it worth it to consider it?
Probably. We would have to iron out the details on what learning it means, because
Right.
everything I've heard is that's one of the most difficult languages to learn. So I mean, I literally probably would have had devoted 2 years of my life to it. So there'd have to be some sort of upfront, payment guarantee or something. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Just on salary learning a language, I think many people would sign up for that. Meanwhile, Bulgaria in the house, Ireland in the house. We have India at 6 a.m. Ashutosh, I hope I'm saying that right. Appreciate you tuning in. We have Milwaukee in the house as well. What else do we have going on over here?
I'm a little sad there's no Minnesota representation yet.
No
although
Minnesota.
somebody's saying it now.
Yeah.
Hell, what the hell? Where are my people at?
No Minnesota whatsoever. I'm not seeing anything. I'm seeing New Jersey. I'm seeing Houston. I'm seeing
Loyalty.
London, Ontario. We've got Canada in the house. We're all over the place.
Well, I mean, Canada's I feel like I'm honorary Canadian. It's kind of close.
Right. All right. Straddle is on. Minieri made it 5,500, and Viffer made it 16.5 with the ace-4 suited.
And Dario and Doyle.
If I feel as though Viffer is trying to bully Dario Minieri because of what happened earlier.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely some interesting dynamics going on here.
Looks like he's just going to call.
By the way, shout out to Dario Minieri for being the first scarf wearer at the poker table. I think Christoph Vogelsang probably studied the tapes and decided that this was the way to go.
Chris, I don't know how you say his last name. He was just ahead of time. He had the whole like mask thing going before it was a mask thing, you know?
Yeah, it's true. And John Juanda had the actual face mask going way earlier as well. Meanwhile, Manieri's losing again.
6 of spades. Does not fool.
What is Viffer?
Dario
Whatever
does
happened
not
to
make
Viffer?
Dario
I have no idea.
25,000 from Pete. 2 overcards out there. Dario
Wow.
doesn't think long.
Very disciplined. Very disciplined. Well done on Dario's behalf. All right, what else? We have Jamie Van Gelder, Minnesota in the house.
There we go.
Finally one.
Thank you, Jamie.
We
Welcome.
found one. And
Cool.
and Adam on YouTube as well. And we have
Okay, all right.
we have
Got a
some
little representation.
Chinese symbols in the chat now too. I think the Chinese are coming for you.
Welcome.
Chicago joining us as well. What I'm curious about as well, now that you're sort of getting used to this new normal, do you think 2021 we're back to grinding and we're back to WSOP and all that stuff?
You know, when Black Friday happened, people were constantly asking me for like updates, like what do I think? And I was like very much like wrapped into like the updates, like, oh, what's going on with like laws and what's, and then I realized like it's just exhausting to try and keep up with, to even like hypothesize on what I think is going to happen. And I feel like I'm kind of in the same place with what's going on with the world. Like it's almost anxiety provoking to think about, like, I don't know what it's going to look like in a year from now. I really don't know. And, so I've kind of taken this more like mentality of just like be here now and present, like focus on what's going on today. Cause it's very overwhelming if I try and just like, peg what's it going to be like in 6 months, a year, like whatever. So I don't know. I don't even like to try and hypothesize. In an ideal world, sure, we get a vaccine. That'd be great. We all want to get back to normal.
Right.
But who the hell knows?
Yeah, we really
certainly don't.
Yeah, it's too tough to call for sure. I think it's also probably safe to like shut down most of your social media and don't watch the news and just
Yeah, the social media thing it's been like I don't know, kind of a we've talked a little bit about it, but a back and forth thing on a personal level. I'm like on one hand I want to stay engaged, on the other hand I'm like you get too wrapped up into it and it's not good for mental health. So it's like I don't know. When I get overwhelmed, I just realize like I don't know what's going on in the outside world, but within these 4 walls, like we're okay.
Right, exactly. And you have 2 drinks, so
yeah, I'm kind of putting up an embarrassing showing. Honestly, they're not even empty, but
you're savoring it.
Well, it's weird. I feel like I'm drinking by myself. I'm sure somebody out there is drinking with me, but
we have
you should have scheduled me for after October. What's your date?
October 7th. That's my due date.
I mean, plan a little, Remco.
Yeah, well,
Jesus.
we can do a Christmas special and have eggnog or something, and
okay,
and
fair enough.
And do that, and we'll do it like in person because by then we've probably all had the disease, and then.
Hey, I've had it, so I mean, I'm safe.
Right. How long does that last though? How long are you safe for?
There's like conflicting information, but best I can tell, there's very, very few. I think there's only like a couple cases where it's like confirmed reinfection. So I mean, I like my chances for a while yet, but I don't know exactly how long my immunity lasts. But for now, I feel like I'm Superwoman, able to walk around with these antibodies and do whatever. So
you should just have a mask that says, "I've already had it. I'm safe."
I know. I honestly feel like I should get like a bracelet or something, and I just don't have to wear a mask. I want to say like I survived COVID, and all I got were these antibodies.
Exactly.
Though they're very valuable. So
that's true. Darren is asking, is Gabe coming back for high stakes poker? Well, Darren, I'm pretty sure there's talks going on. I don't know what the status of it is. Maury Eskandani is probably going to have the lead on all that stuff. Whenever High Stakes Poker Season 8 is returning, I will make sure to let you guys know on this very show who's in the lineup, who's doing commentary, when you can watch it, and it'll for sure be on PokerGO. So if you're a PokerGO subscriber, you won't miss any of it. And you can watch all the other 7 seasons, and then that way you're caught up on all the previous action. And, whenever I watch these episodes on Run It Back, I'm always reminded of how many awesome personalities there are in the game and how many of them I would love to see back for another season. Danielle, high stakes poker, is that at all tempting for you? Are you going to be like, okay, this is an opportunity, the lineup is good, I'm going to sell some action, I want to be on TV? How do you look at a show like this?
I mean, I feel like when I was a little bit younger, I cared more about the TV emphasis. Like, now, I mean, like I played on like Poker After Dark, and that was like super cool, you know, like a life experience. I don't care that much about it now, honestly, like the being on TV, whatever. It's like cool for other people. Like I'm more excited, like my family gets excited about it. But if it's like a good game and a good opportunity, like yeah, getting like splashed around, could certainly sell some action if I need to, which I definitely would need to if I'm playing these stakes. For the record, I'm not that baller.
Right.
But I'm a little bit more indifferent to it as I get older than I was when I was younger.
Right. So jaded.
I don't know. I'm just being. If you told me right now, I could I think I would almost rather take second in the main event than first.
Oh.
Actually, okay, I don't know. That's maybe not, but I'll say that the life of a mega celebrity, that sounds terrible to me.
Wait,
terrible.
So you're not getting recognized at Whole Foods nowadays?
If I no, thank you. Pass. I like my anonymity.
Right. All right. Well, let's see what else we have going on here. Berto is saying, been a while since I've actually just watched poker. I used to be glued to the games. Well, you can watch games 24/7 on PokerGO, and you can find tons and tons of videos on both our Facebook channel, on the videos page, and on our YouTube page. We have so much content on there. It'll keep you entertained for probably for years, I'd have to say. Brian says, I'm drinking with you in Boston. So you have...
Oh, well, thank you.
You have Brian with you.
Boston.
Steve is saying, greetings from Minnesota. These old high-stakes poker shows were the best. Steve, I agree. I appreciate it. And
cheers to Minnesota, too.
Exactly. Cheers to Minnesota.
You're going to try and get me drunk now.
The Minnesotans are finally coming out of the woodwork.
We can drink, man.
I believe you guys. The nights are long, so you have to find a way to pass the time.
It's very cold. Need a little something to warm the blood, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Lise is asking, will Tom Dwan be on high stakes poker? I mean, Tom Dwan is almost synonymous with high stakes poker. So at this point, I'd say we're probably a favorite to have Tom Dwan on the show. I don't think
Tom Dwan is also synonymous with being a complete mystery.
That's true. That's true.
So I mean, he's like a wild card about wild cards.
Do you have a funny Tom Dwan story you're able to share?
Just the first time that we ever hung out, we were in Ireland for a full tilt festival or something, and it was a Tuesday, and there was a big event the next day, and Tom just decided that was the day that he wanted to go out, and everybody was like, "Well, fuck, it's Tom Dwan. How am I gonna tell him no?" So we all had big events in the morning, and weren't planning on going out, but went out with him, and we were in some bar, and they were closing down, and they wanted to close down, and Tom just wanted to let her rip. And I know he was just peeling off $100 bills, just let us stay here. And also I know they wouldn't let him smoke cigars, and he bought all these fancy cigars. It was just peeling off the $100 bills. So that's oh, and another Tom Dwan. This is not as fun, but on a personal level, it was fun. When the Bet Raise Fold documentary premiered, I was at the Palms in Las Vegas, and I was, prior to the documentary, very much so somewhat intentionally living a anonymous life. I wasn't in the spotlight, nobody knew who I was, I was a fangirl, but nobody knew me. And at the after party, we're standing there, and I'm just socializing with people, and somebody comes and they tap me on the shoulder, and I turn around, and Tom Dwan, he's like, "Hi, my name is Tom. I just want to tell you that I'm a huge fan." That was amazing, talking about, he saw these nice things, and I was like, "I'm Danielle." So Tom Dwan was introducing himself to me, and I was like, what the fuck? What planet am I living on right now? It's crazy. So he was very, very nice.
That's awesome. So, by the way, we have 127K in the pot.
Oh, just a casual.
Just casual 7-3 suited. Let's see. Dwan's going for it.
Was this bet?
I mean, I kind of want to see. Oh, yeah. Let's go back.
Straw.
The power of
I feel bad
scrolling.
I was talking to you. It's interesting. Yeah.
No, it's good because, okay.
I don't know what happens over here, but I like Dwan's chances.
We have a straddle, a raise to 6,000, a call, and a call. Okay, let's see where this goes.
That's about right.
These
Tom
three
raised under the gun on us.
on our last hand of the evening.
Oh, last hand of the evening.
Oh, dynamics.
4 ace.
Exactly.
Interesting flop.
Couple diamonds.
Oh my God,
One's
so
got the
sexy when you
flush
raise on the
draw.
last hand of the 7-3 and you flop a
Seltzer
flush
and
draw and
Ellie
backdoor
have
straight draws.
got
Woo.
aces.
That sweater he's wearing belongs in the Poker Hall of Fame or something. It's like synonymous with Tom Dwan, that strange, normal-looking sweater.
Dwan bets 14,600.
$14,100. 14,600.
Alan might have been considering a raise, but I think he's made up his mind to call here.
Yep.
Now you got Dwan, who raised before the flop. An ace comes on the flop. Dwan bets. Alan calls. What does Ellie do? Ace 10.
Raised to 45,000.
Wow.
Raised to 45,000.
Somewhat spoiled it. I know that
You are correct, sir.
Alan gets
And
out,
as
but
Biffa
I
says, he got
think
raised.
Tom's gonna win this on the river when we
What
get to
does
it.
he do?
Oh, I hope so. Let's see.
Calling his shot.
If he goes all in and Ellie has a higher flush draw,
About 250? Roughly?
Durr's in bad shape.
Less.
You're just going to call.
Very disciplined fold by
Alan's gone.
Alan.
Mr. Durr needs a diamond.
Here we go.
Welcome to Mr. Durr needs a diamond.
He doesn't necessarily need that.
Jack of hearts.
He needs a very
He's
large,
Durr.
a very large
Mr. Durr
bet.
does not get
He
his
needs some
diamond.
heart of this kind.
Exactly.
Ellie looks a little confused here.
Yeah.
He's not sure.
Huh.
Durr had another opportunity to draw out on the river, but he didn't get there.
I hope he goes really big here.
I agree.
He's very likely to bet here because he is Durr and because he's got 7 high.
I don't,
Because he knows that Ellie's hand probably isn't that strong.
100.
I will be shocked if Ellie calls you, depending on his bet size, but I'd be very shocked. Bear in mind, I know nothing about Ellie's level of the game, but this just looks so strong from Durr to like raise an early position
7,300.
and then call the check raise or the raise with a third person in the pot and then lead out.
Right.
I think that bet, in
57.
case Ellie's got a flush draw also, doesn't have an ace.
He's doing the bobbing like the.
But Ellie does have an ace, and it looks like he's calling. There he goes.
All
Nope.
right.
Then again, this is a different time. Look at Ellie. What do I
I
know?
have 7 high.
7 high of my life. Well,
6, 7 a diamond, buddy. Somewhere around there.
I had 6, 7. That's a lot of credit.
I guess I don't know what Dwan's reputation is. I suppose it's probably wild man this time. You gotta take that into factor. but
Oh,
that's a call.
The wildest reputation for sure.
I mean, he's always gonna have that, but still, like, he's gotta be. It's a hell of a call.
People in the chat are saying, isn't Elezra known as a station? I think he might kind of be a station, but it also means that Dwan probably should have bet more. I mean,
I mean, I didn't watch these, so I don't know. I would have guessed that he was more of a tight player in Ultimate, but
Right.
but that's current state of affairs, not these days.
exactly.
I don't know.
All right, we've reached the end of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. This was the final hand, as they said it on the broadcast, the final hand of the session. Also, the final hand here on Run It Back. Let me just tell you guys that are watching right now, before you leave, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and come back on Tuesday morning. It's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. on the East Coast, and a reasonable hour as well in Europe. We're going to have Dan Smith on the show watching probably close to 2 hours of Poker Masters footage from the 100K final table with David Peters, Ali Imsirovic, Brandon Adams, tons of big names at that final table. Steven Chidwick, I believe, is also in the mix. So that should be a good one. And then next week on Thursday, in the night slot, in this exact time slot, we're going to have Ali Imsirovic watching the 50K final table of the first Poker Masters that he managed to win, where he got the purple jacket. So don't miss any of those shows. And if we talked about this at length, but High Stakes Duel Round 2 was truly epic between Hellmuth and Esfandiari. So catch that on YouTube, Facebook, or PokerGO for free. Whenever you have time, sit down for that. grab some popcorn and just enjoy the show because those guys were truly out of their minds. Danielle, thank you so much for joining me. I owe you one as far as the drinking goes. I'm gonna say let's do like a Christmas or like a holiday sort of special, maybe Thanksgiving, and maybe some eggnog, maybe some home brews or whatever.
I'm in some smoked drinks, perhaps if Corey's available.
Whatever Corey is serving, we can make that happen.
I'm in. Thank you for having me.
We'll bring you into my home studio, and then which is also my kitchen, and then we'll do some cocktail. Look, Corey can make cocktails in the back while we sit here and talk about poker and just have some fun with it. Anyway, you guys, thank you all so much for watching. For Danielle Andersen, my name is Remco Rinkema, and this was Run It Back.
Thank you, guys.